Welcome to Psychic Insights, where pop culture meets higher consciousness and the tea is always a little bit mystical. I'm Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend, and around here we don't just watch the drama unfold. We read the energy behind it, whether it's celebrity scandals, reality TV, chaos, or true crime with a twist. I'm tuning in to bring you the intuitive scoop the headlines miss. So buckle up, because your aura's about to get entertained. Hello, welcome back again to my channel. I'm Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend. And today we're diving into a question that one of you asked. And honestly, it's one of the most insightful questions I've seen in a while. So yay. So I wanted to say big thank you. And I love when you bring this level of awareness and curiosity. Your comments and questions shape the depth of these episodes. So keep sending them. I welcome it. And so let's get into the question that came through because it's powerful. All right. So the question was, when did Laura go from perhaps lying about little things to faking pregnancies and creating dating contracts? Was there a particular event that caused her to escalate to these more drastic means of holding on to someone? So today we're going to answer that because the cards, they have something to say. And first, I want to say I read the Akashic Records as well as cards. So like a lot of my readings are energetic and soul level readings. So we will combine a little bit of that with what the cards have to say. So first, before we walk through it, I want to tell you which cards I came up with. It was Anchor, Dog, Stork. I have something to say about the Stork. It's pretty interesting, I think. Crossroads. Oh, did I do book? I didn't do book. Book, Crossroads, and Child. So it tells us a full psychological and spiritual timeline of this escalation. And it's wild how clearly it lays out the shift. So let's walk through it. The first card is the Anchor. And this when I was shuffling this card, it just like popped out. So I was like, oh, so this is going to anchor the energy for us. And I can identify with this energy. It's holding on too tight. And that didn't begin recently. This is a long-term energy. This is something woven into identity and something that has been there for years. And I want to say, because we pulled like the Stork and the Child, I want to say this is energy she picked up and possibly in utero by her mother, right? From her mother. I do think it's a soul contract. I think there's a lot going on here with this family. But, I feel like this is deep and rooted, and it comes from instability and someone who didn't truly feel safe in, unless she was attached to another person. And if you saw my episode on her mother fused, her energy to her. So there's this inability to be an individual. So I feel like this is someone who's never fully felt safe unless she was attached to another person, and it sets the stage for small manipulations, probably starting when she was very, very, very young. And not out of malice. Like, we have to remember, this may have started out of just emotional survival. Okay, so we can have compassion and not, accept her behaviors, right? So, and this is probably where the small lies started. Not dramatic, not criminal, just little attempts to feel secure. Makes sense, right? So then we have the Dog. And the dog is loyalty and friendship, companionship, and commitment. And this dog represents the first wound. And it could be a rupture, a betrayal, a moment when someone she trusted either pulled away, chose someone else. Remember what we've been talking about Ron and his favorite daughter, Sarah? Or maybe the father pulled away from the mother and it felt like he was pulling away from her. And this is a crack in the foundation. This is a split. And this is where the moment of little lies happen because they don't feel like they can hold on to someone. Okay, so interesting, huh? I'm kind of digging it, right? It makes us like really kind of think a little differently because we're visualizing her as a child, as a small little girl. So then we have the stork. Okay, and the stork, this is where the escalation begins. This is change. This is upgrading a relationship. This is forcing a transition. This is panic to keep things moving in the direction she wants. And this is where the emotional grip tightens. And I also think because the stork is here, I think it's about the birth or pre-birth. But in this spread, it talks a little bit more about she starts using crisis or emotional shifts or dramatic stories, not yet the pregnancies or contracts, but the intensity is rising. It could be from a betrayal of a friendship in school or a perceived one. And this is the moment where she feels something is slipping and she tries to correct it. Okay, this is where manipulation becomes a tool, not an accident. So this could be when she's a more child, like grade school, middle school age type energy, something around there, early. So then we have the book, and the book. Okay, the book is my smoking gun, right? This is secrets, hidden planning, private storylines, creating narratives behind the scenes. These are like secret narratives, right? And this is the moment where deception becomes more structured. And the anchor is the root. The dog is the wound and the stork is the shift. The book is where she starts creating full-blown hidden stories to maintain control. Psychically, this card hums with duality. And this is the public story and the private one that nobody knows. So this is where escalation truly begins. And this is where fabricated events take shape behind closed doors. And again, I feel like it started school age and continued on. Okay. Now here's the crossroads. And this is the choice to escalate. It's not impulsive energy. This is a decision. This is a moment where she actively chooses the more extreme pathway. This is the point where she internally says, if small lies don't work, I need something bigger. And this is where we see the strategy, the planning, the belief that the outcome justifies the means. This is where the story shifts from exaggeration into fabricated pregnancies, legal claims, or contracts, and high-stakes manipulation. The crossroads shows us this wasn't accidental. It was a turning point. It's mind-blowing to me sometimes, right? It always is. It always is. I have to say, I love doing the intuitive work, but it shocks me sometimes. Okay. So then we have the child, and this is the final escalation. Child. People. I can't make it up. I don't make it up. This is the story, okay? I wish I made it up. It would be probably more believable sometimes. All right. This does represent actual children or the concept of pregnancy, but child is also immaturity, emotional immaturity, or regression, needing protection, trying to restart a relationship dynamic, using innocence as leverage. Oh my God. All right, and this is where the pregnancy narrative starts to come in. Psychically, the energy feels desperate. Remember, she tried to hang on to these guys by manipulating them through pregnancies or alleged pregnancies or stories about pregnancies. And this is someone reaching for the strongest anchor they can find. And this makes sense in Laura's story, right? A child, a pregnancy, a bond that can't be easily severed. This is the peak of the escalation cycle. So when we combine all these cards, we get long-standing insecurities, loyalty wound, panic shift, secret fabrications, strategic escalation, and pregnancy narratives. It wasn't sudden. It was a pattern that intensified over time. Psychically, the root of it is terror of abandonment. And every card reinforces that escalation wasn't about manipulation for power. It was about a fear-based attempt to avoid being left behind. Will the criminal trial reveal this? And yeah, it will. Because the book and the Crossroads together show digital evidence, private messages, metadata, planning, notes, timelines, motive. It suggests that the trial may uncover the when and the why behind the escalation, maybe even earlier incidents that show this wasn't the first time she blurred the line between truth and fiction, right, with the other victims. So we have to ask, so you have asked, my viewer. I want to thank you because it was an outstanding question. This is the kind of depth that helps us to understand not just the events, but the psychology and the energy behind them. And to everyone watching, if you have questions like this, send them, comment below, direct message me. Your insights help shape these conversations, and I love diving into what you want to know because they're your questions. They help. Okay, and if you want a part 2 in breaking down the archetype behind this escalation, the shadow patterns and the wounds, and the spiritual contracts connected to them, let me know. And I'm Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend, and I will see you in the next one. And thanks again. Like and subscribe and do all that stuff. I appreciate it.